my mentor Yost came up and said, your why doesn't matter. And that was crazy. It was like, what do you mean my why doesn't matter?
You just have to take a step forward. It's not going to be perfect, but take a step, get into some momentum, and then the next step is easier. But what do you say to the person that just can't figure out how to take that first step?
I tell them to quit. That's what I tell them to do. I just straight up stop. You don't have to be healthy. You don't have to create a business. You don't have to get married. You don't have to stay married. You don't have to do any of this stuff. So just stop. Quit doing things. Give up. And generally the response is, well, I don't want to. I want this stuff. I want to do this, this, and this. And then I go, great. Well, then let's freaking do it. And there has to be that decision made. And sometimes it takes that different angle to be able to create it. Just, dude, stop. I knew that I should walk, and I knew that I should eat less than I was eating of corn dogs and freaking pizzas. I just was not doing it. And the next thing is, what's something that you can do to commit yourself to doing it? They say where your money is, your heart is also. Where your money goes, your energy flows. Go make an investment in yourself. This was very interesting. So our last live event at B2B Live was a lot about identity. And I didn't expect it to be about that. I thought like, man, this is going to be for the businessmen. But all of a sudden it was really big. My mentor Yost came up and said, your why doesn't matter. And that was crazy. It was like, what do you mean my why doesn't matter? Like tons of people, they love their family and they have lung cancer and they won't quit smoking. There's people that are obese and they really, really want to run with their kids, but they won't stop eating freaking McDonald's. They have all the whys in the world, but they haven't had an identity shift. And then what even hammered it in even more is Russell Brunson came and spoke to the mastermind and also to the event. And he spoke about how he had bought this bike, like $15,000 bike, hanging up in his garage, and he never had used it. And he decided one day, he's like, man, I want to be a biker, like, which it's actually called a cyclist. Bikers are like Harley Davidson, but that's Russell for you. And this just hammered it for me big time. Is he sat there, he had the equipment, he wanted to do it, but for some reason he wasn't pedaling the bike. And so finally he just was like, you know what? What do bikers do? Where do they go? How do they act? What do they have? And he went online and he bought like the shoes and the spandex and the water bottle and the helmets and all these different things. And he fitted him in all this stuff. And he goes, I am a biker. Cyclist, Russell, but he says he's a biker. And he's been riding bikes every single day because he had changed his identity around the subject and he had suited himself. So maybe it's order the shoes. I remember that's a big thing for people. It's like, get the running shoe. Like we actually had a guy inside of Elite that was running and he hated running. He thought running was stupid. And he went and ordered shoes because he saw a good runner and he said, I'm going to order the shoes. You look at the Sandlot, like kids used to wear those PF flyers because like that kid used to run fast with the shoes.
Yeah.
The kids would put on the shoes and they felt like they could run fast and it motivated them. So put yourself in an environment of what would this person do? Take on the identity of this new person. Because my identity now, if I were to eat unhealthy, that would be the healthy of years ago. Because my identity has shifted. What is now unhealthy and what's considered healthy is drastically different than before. Success. I thought that if you made $10,000 a month, you were a god. Now it like that is unfathomable.
That probably doesn't even cover your bills.
Not even close, dude. Like not even a third. And so not even close. So now looking at that, success and failure has changed. But the big thing is that who do you want to be? And change your identity around it. If you want to be finding your identity in being broke or out of shape or overweight or not able to be in a great relationship, then great. But what are the people doing? Where do they go? How do they act? Start taking on the identity of the traits that you want. And I believe that's a huge step that people can take. I think that who are the people that you trust that have gotten results before? And I say trust because the best people in the world you may not work well with, might not be the right fit. Yet someone you trust and is really good at what they do, go hire them. I remember right before COVID lockdown, I had been following one of my friends because I had just had a baby. My wife did at least, and I was around the baby a lot. I didn't have the baby. And my son was born, and all of a sudden working out 5 days a week was not like my biggest priority. An hour a day, that's what my regimen was, like hour and 15 a day, 5 days a week. And I was like, this is not going to work. I had another friend that taught 3 days a week, 45 minutes. And I thought, well, the results are good. That would actually work really well. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, great. So I was kind of watching from a distance. I had known him for 2 years. And for 2 months, I sat there and thought about this program, but never really did it. So one day I wake up and I'm like, you know what? Like things have gotten worse. I haven't been working out as much. I need to commit to something new. I don't want to write my own program. I just want to get something and just follow it. So finally I invest. It was only like $650. I invest in this at-home workout program. And that day I went through all the trainings and I felt like a completely different person. That was just the shift that I needed. I was like, all right, like that was the breakthrough. I was waiting for that. And I sat there and thought about it and thought, man, you know what? Even though I got this pretty quick, I could have done this 2 months ago, but I waited till things got worse and worse and worse and worse. Till I'm at the worst place now. And now I finally take action 2 months later, where it could have been a smooth transition from when my son was born, invest in the program, and been right on the different regimen. But I just allowed life to get worse and worse and worse. And how often do we allow life to get worse and worse and worse and worse to the point where we're like, I don't even want to invest in something because I don't even know if it would work. Think about me with carpet cleaning. I'd invested in the event, done the things, failed, carpet clean, and the longer I went, the more stingy I got. $30 to pay for parking. No, I'm not going to do that. So finally, it got to the point where I was sitting there cleaning carpets going, I'm never going to get to my dream life. I need to do something dramatic and different. $5,000, $15,000, $30,000, $50,000 investments later, and my breakthrough came. And each time shifted my identity. And as you can see with what we do inside of BDB, the number one difference that men get that changes everything right off the bat, when Douglas James joined in BDB Elite and he made $839,000 in his first 3 months without even talking to anyone, like he didn't even ask for help, was because he had an identity shift. When Steve's seeing all these new guys in right now and they're like, oh, I did this workout. Oh, I did $1 million in 8 weeks. Oh, I did this thing and I made my first sale. The only difference so far is the identity shift. They say, this is who I am. I am a three-dimensional businessman. I'm an elite level businessman. This is how we make decisions. This is how I show up every single day. This is how I communicate and have accountability. And their identity is shifted. And so with that identity shift, they act differently. And so if you're not willing to make the investments in order to get to where you want to be, then you just don't want to be there bad enough.